The Chicago Bears have two offensive linemen that I am very high on. One is left tackle Braxton Jones, the other is right guard Teven Jenkins, and both guys are slated to start this year. And in today's video, we're going to break down both of their tapes and really just get into it, starting with this first play right here. Now, some people tagged me with this video right here on Twitter when I said that I love Tevin Jenkins. And they say the guy Tevin Jenkins was supposed to reach on ended up making the play. So how good could Tevin Jenkins actually be? Well, what they don't tell you is that his center actually steps on his foot. And because of that, that makes him off balance. But there's a lot you can still take from this play. For example, Tevin Jenkins reaches on this defensive lineman. This guy playing the 4 technique over the right tackle, Tevin Jenkins is able to hook him initially. And had he not got stepped on, maybe he actually shuts this guy down. And the running back would have had this outside lane. And again, that would have been because of Teven Jenkins. Now, on the other hand, at left tackle, Braxton Jones has to be able to get to the inside of this defensive lineman and cut him off. Now, as you guys watch this play, he does hesitate a little bit. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe he felt that he false started. If you guys really watch him in slow motion, he's going to initially take that right step, slightly go to his right, and then he hesitates. And that hesitation allowed that defensive lineman to jump inside. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Maybe he forgot the snap count or something to that tune. Either way, in today's video, we're going to look at a ton of the reps of both Jenkins and Jones. In this next rep right here, this is a draw play, and this defensive tackle is going to get upfield. And Jenkins is going to pass set and basically turn this guy and basically seal him off. The running back's going to get the ball and kick it right through this gap. Now, a draw play is not a pass blocking set. Like, some people may have a misconception that offensive linemen need to just set up in a pass block and hope that the running back finds the open lane, and that is not actually true. Jenkins has a responsibility in this play, and his responsibility is to make sure to turn number 98 and give this running back a lane to the inside here. And if you really watch Jenkins, he does just that. I mean, this is a really nice block to be able to turn out this defensive tackle. And had it not been for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who I really love, by the way, right here, this play could have hit. I think the tight end has to do a better job. Number 5 is not unblocked. One of these guys should have been responsible for him. You can see 96 holding both the center and the left guard, not allowing one of those guys to get up to number 5. On the other end, Braxton Jones, his block really doesn't matter. So in forward plays, we won't really look at his block because he is the backside on this play. And he does his job. And truth be told, there's only 17 reps. With that being said, let's go ahead and get to the next rep. You know, in my opinion, one of the big misconceptions with the Chicago Bears offensive line is that they are not very good. And that's a major misconception. And people take Braxton Jones and says the rookie starting at left tackle, but it's only because this offensive line's not that good. And I really disagree with that narrative. In fact, Braxton Jones isn't starting because this offensive line sucks and they have no other options. He's starting because he's a really good football player. I mean, you look at this play right here. He not only does he get his hands on number 98, but as 98 tries to come to the inside and number 96 tries to come around on this defensive line game, Braxton Jones shuts it down. He passes off number 98 and he takes over number 96, gets his hands on him, shuts it down. And that right there is why Braxton Jones is starting. Now, if you make your way over to Teven Jenkins, you're going to see Teven Jenkins and Larry Borom not do as great of a job. And I really put this blame right here on the right tackle, Larry Borom. I think he has to do a better job passing off that defensive end to Teven Jenkins. Teven Jenkins does a really good job with the heads up to turn and feel that this guy's coming to the inside. I mean, he's literally in a one-on-one situation with number 99, and he lets his guy go to try to stop number 94. Like, that's a really nice heads-up play by Teven Jenkins. Now, Larry Borom has to do a better job. And what he can't do right here is when he's punching number 94, he can't miss. Number 94 is going to swat down those hands. He's going to swat them down, and he has the inside leverage now. Because Larry Borom tried to punch, number 94 swatted that punch down. Now, what he needed to do is get his hands on the inside, slow down number 94, and actually pass him off to Teven Jenkins. Like, as Jenkins is trying to overtake number 94 is literally in front of Teven Jenkins. Like, there is nothing anyone can do. Now, I do expect Larry Borom to be the starting right tackle. In fact, I think from right tackle, you got Borom. Right guard, you got Teven Jenkins. At center, Lucas Patrick. At left guard, Cody Whitehair. And of course, at left tackle, the rookie. And I think that could make up a pretty decent offensive line. There are rumors out there that Teven Jenkins is still on the trade block and he may end up getting dealed. But I think those narratives are super false. And this is why. And this play is also why I think Teven Jenkins is going to be a 10-year starter, maybe even longer, just really depends until he decides he's ready to not play the game of football anymore, is because of his mental processing. The fact that he can take one guy on, and when Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who's super quick, jumps to the inside, he's able to shift and get to the next guy and create a lane for the running back. This is a really nice job by Teven Jenkins. I think Tevin Jenkins has all-pro potential because of plays like this. From a schematic perspective, this defensive tackle is in a 4-eye. He's really to the inside shade of that right tackle. And this is going to be a power run concept. So Jenkins and that right tackle are going to double team this defensive tackle. And then they're going to wait for the linebacker and read what the linebacker does. If the linebacker goes to the inside, which is exactly what he does, Tevin Jenkins picks him up. If the linebacker goes to the outside, Jenkins stays with the defensive tackle, and then the right tackle picks up the linebacker. So from the right guard and right tackle's perspective, you have to really process this play. Jenkins does a really good job getting to number 98. He makes contact low. He hits him right in the hip, and that's important because that's how you turn a guy. That's how you put a guy down. And that's exactly what happens to number 99. And the right tackle is able to overtake him. But he's only able to do that because of Jenkins' double team block. And of course, Jenkins gets up to the linebacker and he blocks him. The linebacker's trying to dip past him. Obviously, that's not going to work. And the running back's going to pick up about 5 to 6 yards. This is a pretty solid job by Jenkins. Let's get into the next rep. Now, I do want to throw a quick disclaimer out there. There are plays like this where the offensive line showed this wide zone concept. It's really meant for the quarterback to roll out. Just like this, you got a play action to the left. Quarterback rolls out to the right. And we're going to skip these plays. There's no point of showing these plays. So understand, although both Jenkins and Jones played 17 snaps, we're not going to break down 17 snaps because there's plays like this that we're going to skip. Let's go ahead and get into the next rep. Now, one of my favorite blocks by the right guard and left tackle ends up not counting, but this block and this play is out freaking standing, man. Holy crap. I really want to break this play down because there's so much here. First and foremost, great cutback lane by the running back. But I want you guys to watch this left tackle, man. This is why this guy starts. It's because of plays like this. If you really focus in, look at the left tackle throw this punch and look at him get lower and lift this defensive end. I mean, he literally is underneath this defensive end and look at the drive. He literally drives him back 6 yards off the ball. That right there is damn impressive, man. This is where Braxton Jones starts. The ability to lift and move people, that's impressive, man. And this offensive line is so underrated and being written off, unfortunately, that they are underdogs this year. And they are going to whoop people's ass this year, man. Watch Teven Jenkins on this play. This is a great job. And this is why I think he has all-pro potential. I don't watch offensive linemen and make crap up. Right? I don't say that, hey, this center is the best center in the league or this tackle is the best tackle just to say it. If I did not think that the fact that Jenkins blocks here and then is able to get up to number 28 and really seal him off, if I didn't think this block mattered, I wouldn't point it out. But this type of stuff is unique. It's not very easy for a guy to be able to do these type of things. That's a really solid block by Jenkins, and it is a hard block. I'm telling you guys from firsthand experience. To be able to double team and be able to get your hand out the way he does, like that right there helps the right tackle bore him out so much. And I'm sure the right tackle absolutely appreciates it. And then to be able to cut off number 28, one of the things that oftentimes happens with guards is they don't take the right angle. So for example, sometimes you see a guard take an angle directly towards the linebacker, and the linebacker is able to outrun that angle. But Jenkins doesn't do that. If you watch Jenkins' angle, his angle is more so this way. So you understand when you watch this play, Jenkins really understands angles. Now, of course, although he has the proper angle on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Jock does a bad job in my opinion because for him to avoid this block, he's going to kind of come backwards. And you see that if you watch where he initially makes contact, he's like 2 yards from this line here. And then as he tries to get past Teven Jenkins, he ends up 2 yards on the opposite side of that line right there. And of course, Jenkins gets to him and just drives him. He doesn't put him down. He tries to turn him, but this is still a really nice block. You guys can even watch Jones. We already pointed it out, but just watch how him and the left guard here do a really solid job. Cody Whitehair, great job right there with Braxton Jones. Great run. Obviously, it doesn't count. And I believe the person that holds is this tight end on number 44. I don't think that the call had to be made. I understand because you do have to let him go. But for the most part, he does kind of let him go. I think number 44 really just kind of falls down. Either way, the play doesn't count, but we don't care about the play. We don't care about the outcome. We look at the individual blocks. That's a great job by both Teven Jenkins and the left tackle, Braxton Jones. All right, you guys, jumping forward into this next rep, I want to look at Braxton Jones on this play specifically because on this play, I do think that he tries to do something. It doesn't work, but he tries to do something that's a little unique. Tevin Jenkins is known to do this. This is called a snatch and trap. And you're going to see Braxton Jones try to do that. Number 58 is going to get that arm and long arm him. You can see number 58 is in a really good spot in terms of his leverage. And if you watch the right hand of Jones, he's going to try to snatch that arm down. Here it comes. There's the right hand. He's going to try punching down. It happens super quickly. He does kind of miss it, as you guys can see. And he is in a bad spot in terms of leverage, right? But I do like the fact that he knows mentally that this is a move that offensive linemen use. It's called a snatch and trap. Jenkins does do it on one of these plays. We'll probably get to that play in just a second here. Jenkins does a solid job just really dominating and anchoring down. Let's go ahead and get into the next rep. Now, one of the things I need Braxton Jones to continue to improve on is his anchoring. On this play, he's going to get vertical and he's going to take number 58 on. And 58 does get some pressure on Fields. Now, Fields does deliver a touchdown pass, but this is too close for a guy to get to the quarterback. Now, of course, Fields is able to complete the pass. This is a touchdown to number 84. But one of the things I need Braxton Jones to work on is he needs to get out there and really set up here and really stop and anchor down. Now, in this play, he's going to get vertical and he's going to let 58 get into his chest. Number 58 is going to get that left hand right in there and he's going to long arm Jones. Now, I need Jones to get stronger. I need Jones to work on his technique a little bit. If you guys look at his right hand, his palm specifically is facing up, which means he is trying to fork the defensive end. Now, he would need to, instead of having his hand there, he would need to put it closer to the wrist and really point that upwards, really force it up. Now, because of where his hand ends up landing, it's closer to the tricep. He's not able to fork, and the defensive end does get really close to getting to Fields. No quarterback wants a guy in his face. Of course, this is teach tape for the offensive line coach, the offensive coordinator, to really show him where he needs to improve on. Either way, again, it is teach tape. Let's go ahead and get to the next rep. Alrighty, guys, just a couple plays ago, I mentioned that Braxton Jones was trying to do a snatch and trap and Teven Jenkins. It's something he does. And here's the play. You're going to see Teven Jenkins take on number 96. Number 96 ends up into the dirt. So we discussed it a little bit, but a snatch and trap is basically a punch by the offensive lineman on the defensive lineman's hands. The punch comes from up downwards, and the point is it removes any leverage that a defensive lineman may have. There's the punch. You guys can see Jenkins throws it. Number 96 gets off balance, and he ends up in the dirt. You know, Tevin Jenkins has been doing this move since college, and he's really good at it. And of course, I expect Braxton Jones to learn it, to definitely pick up from Jenkins. But this is why I say Jenkins is an all-pro player. You know, yeah, he was tried at tackle, and it may not have worked out, but that's okay. Jenkins doesn't need to be a tackle. He'll be one of the best guards in the entire league. And I think this year he's really going to prove it. This is a really nice snatch and trap. Let's go ahead and jump forward and get into the next rep. This is a really nice throw by Justin Fields. A really solid route by number 86, the tight end. But what's better than all of that, honestly, is the pocket here that this offensive line creates. I mean, this right here is exactly what you want if you're a quarterback. This may be the most underrated group in the entire league, and truth be told, I think the Bears are actually going to be really good this year. I know some people say that there's not enough weapons, and you can make the argument compared to some of the top tier teams, they may not have enough weapons. But one of the things they do have is a good quarterback that can make plays. They have a really good running back, and they have a really good offensive line, and that's all you really need to be a good competitive team. Plus, there's some guys that have potential to break out. On top of that, if the defense is able to click, if some of the younger players get a little bit better, I think there's a lot here that the Bears can continue to build on. I know week 1 they take on the San Francisco 49ers, and the Bears are kind of being written off. And honestly, if the Niners show up to that game and think to themselves that this is going to be a walk in the park, they're going to get their butts kicked because this offensive line is nasty and they're tough and they're physical. I I mean, look at this block right here by Braxton Jones against number 94. He's going to punch, and that's a good punch. This is an aggressive punch. You guys can see it in the way he puts his hands out there. And that right there is what you want to see. And he pretty much shuts him down. And Justin Fields delivers the pass. It's a really nice play right there. On this next play, Braxton Jones is in a one-on-one situation with number 59. 59 is going to try to give him a speed out with a power move back to the inside with a chop with that left hand. And Jones handles it well and just puts him down. That's a really nice block right there by Braxton Jones. So really nice job not falling for it and really just shutting it down. And of course, Fields gets out of the pocket, completes the pass downfield. Not a whole lot there, but let's go ahead and get into the next rep. Alrighty guys, I want to wrap it up with the final play right here by this offensive line. You know, I oftentimes say this, one of the most underrated parts of playing the game of football is the blocking angles, the technique, the ability to do different things and do it correctly. You know, screen plays are not that easy to execute and execute correctly. It's very difficult. And I'll give you guys an example. Under John Gruden, the Las Vegas Raiders struggled running screen plays. They weren't able to get their offensive linemen out there in the correct spot. The running backs weren't getting open. And under Josh McDaniels, the new head coach, screen passes have looked really good. And it's the same exact offensive lineman starting. There's literally no difference. But on this play right here, the first thing I notice is Tevin Jenkins, the center, and the left guard are all going to get out there. And Jenkins takes the first guy. And they're almost creating like these running lanes, right? Like Jenkins is basically going to take the first guy and seal him out. The center is basically going to go heads up and just run through kind of like a fullback. And the left guard's going to be the other seal to the other side. And basically the running back just needs to find the hole and really just hit it. And that's exactly what happens here. This is a really nice job by all three of those offensive linemen. And again, I think there's a lot of potential here with this unit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is the first time you're on this channel, please consider subscribing. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button as it really helps YouTube push this video out. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.